Yo, what's up? My name's Tyler W. It's 2025, and my New Year's resolution is to How about you? Today, we're talking about 10 things about beatboxing that I want to leave in 2024. Let's begin. Let's start with probably my hottest take, and that's we should leave behind reaction content being the primary form of beatboxing content. Right now, if you went to YouTube and searched up beatboxing or went to your subscription feed, 7 out of 10 videos would be reaction videos, and the other 3 would be the videos they're reacting to. Now, I made a video talking about this a year ago where I broke down how reactions fall on a spectrum of bad to better, the negative impacts the bad ones have on the community, and the positive impacts that the good ones have. It was a true deep dive that laid out all my thoughts, so if you're curious on that, go check that out. I really liked that video. But over the last year, not much has changed, right? And I didn't expect anything to change, but GBB's rolling around again, and beatboxers and reactors overall are back to uploading their reactions within 24 hours of the originals being uploaded. Maybe I've seen a few thumbnails change, but outside of that, it's kind of all the same. And the reason why this is in my list, outside of obviously the negative impacts that bad reactions can have, is because a lot of these reactors are very capable creators and really good beatboxers who I would love to see push creative and original beatboxing content. And right now, we're just doing reactions, whether that be because they really like reacting to things or because they want to keep up views because they're, a little bit easier to produce. I don't know, but I would love to see beatboxers and creators be pushing more original and unique content. That's why this is in my list, but it's divisive for a lot of reasons. And trust me, I know, because I asked on Reddit, and why would I do that? But yeah, that's all I got. Let's move towards more original and creative content in 2025, and let's try to reduce the amount of reactions that we see. That's optimistic. That's just not going to happen. So the next thing we got to leave behind in 2024 is non-battle beatbox battles. What I mean by this is when beatboxer A does a minute 30 routine, beatboxer B does a minute 30 routine, beatboxer A does a minute 30 routine, beatboxer B does a minute 30 routine without any counters, without acknowledging each other's existence, without dissing each other, without trolling each other, and they're just performing their music to the audience. To me, it doesn't feel like a battle, and I've kind of seen it more and more throughout the years. And, I understand why it exists and why this is a thing. And it's because beatbox battles are a majority of the events out there, right? And there's not very many events for beatboxers to showcase their music, perform to a large audience, let alone an audience of beatboxers who truly understand their craft, right? Like when I think of a battle, I think like Alexinho, who will immediately almost always counter and then freestyle into a routine of his, or he's just freestyling in general, to then drop a classic routine to finish with some trolling. It feels like a battle. And it's really fun when you can see two people go back and forth and riff off each other. And, it just feels like there's a lot of battle energy there. It's still fun to watch two different beatboxers showcase their music because I just like beatboxing and I would like to see what people do. But it doesn't feel like a battle. I don't know. I'd like to leave it behind in 2024. I mean, to be fair, I'm also guilty of doing this. When I battled, I also went in with minute 30 routines. I was always scared to counter because I was always scared I'd mess up or it wouldn't be able to flow well into the routine that I prepped or it'd eat into the time because I was prepped out like a minute 30 perfect. So I understand it, but I feel like we need to get more events that aren't battles so that people that want to do that can perform there, and then we can have people that battle. While on the topic of battles, the next thing we need to leave behind in 2024 is the battle-focused culture. Now, I know I just said that I want to bring back actual battles, and I still do, but I also want to expand on the point where I said that a majority of events are battles, and that's because I think that has resulted in a very competitive environment, where a majority of the events that we see and content that we consume with beatboxing is all battles, which is competitive by nature, right? We are comparing beatboxer A to beatboxer B to figure out who is better. And I feel like that has now kind of trickled down to everything in the community, where you could be watching just a simple video of a beatboxer uploading their music, right? It's not competitive. There's nothing about it. It's just their music. And you can go to the comments and there's still people saying, but beatboxer A is better. Beatboxer B has better bass than you. When those comparisons just don't need to be made. Like, I don't compare my favorite musicians. I don't say, oh my God, Bring Me the Horizon is so much better than Circus Survive. Because that's never a thought that passes through my head. They're both amazing, right? I enjoy both of them for different reasons. They're just amazing artists. So I just feel like the battling has just created an unnecessarily competitive culture, and it's just created a lot of toxicity in the community. And I know that the only way to solve that would be to create other events that are not battles, and that's not easy to organize them, but we should try to move a little bit away from battles if we can. Or you can keep battles, but we need to create other opportunities so that there's more content for people to see and they can see it in a non-competitive light. Next up on the chopping block, emoji beatbox videos. We've all seen them before, emoji beatbox videos, right? It's kind of hard to go on social media and follow beatboxers and not see one at some point in your life. I've made them before. I still might make some in 2025, even though that might be hypocritical, but they're so oversaturated. Basically, as soon as short form content became a thing, they became a meta, right? Not just in the beatboxing community. I've seen other musicians do it and other creators as well, but the beatboxing community, we latched onto this concept, right? Because it works and it's a good way to appeal to a general audience. Everyone knows what an emoji is, right? If you use a phone or the internet or anything, you know what an emoji is. Therefore, you can create a connection and relate. So I get it, but I've seen the same 5 beatboxers do the same 5 emojis the same way in 1,000 different videos. It's oversaturated, it's overdone. There are still creative ways to do it, but as a majority of short form content, we should ditch it as a majority because there's so many of them.
Why so serious? The Jonkler.
In case you've been living under a rock or behind a couch, the Jonkler is a meme made popular by Spencer X, where he says,
"Why so serious?"
followed by a laugh beat, all inspired by the Joker, which, by the way, this has been done before. 80 Fits did it in the past, and beatboxers such as Kevin O'Neill have done it before, and I'm sure others have as well. But Spencer popularized it recently, and a few of his videos went viral, tens of millions of views, which is insane. So Spencer said, double down, triple down, quadruple down, quintuple down, and it's been doing it for months, right? With no variants. He turned into a Jonkler purist, and it's now at a point where it's been going on for months, and the comments are now, oh my God, we can't bring this into 2025. We need to leave this in 2024, and I agree. The Jonkler, 2024. 2025, hopefully not the Jonkler. I'm sure I'll see it in 5 minutes.
My knees.
Who thought that was a good idea? Okay, so the next thing we should leave in 2024 are beatbox shoutout videos. Now, I've made an entire video on this in the past where I broke down the pros and cons of beatbox shoutouts and my experience with them, and my thoughts on it are relatively unchanged. So if you want to see the entire breakdown, I'll put the link for the video down in the description below. But at a high level, basically, shoutouts are relatively unchanged for the last decade, and the format has been the exact same. It's been, hi, my name is blah. This is a shoutout for blah. Beat, done, they upload. And at the beginning, it used to be huge to get a shout out. Like even I dreamed of having a shout out on Swiss Beatbox or Beatbox Television because at the time it was hard to build your own platform and they hadn't established one. So a shout out would give you huge exposure, right, to the beatboxing community. But because the formats remain unchanged and they've been doing it now for so long, the videos have become stale. And there are so many of them, it's oversaturated now. And because of that, views have been going down and down every year. And I think it's finally time that we ditch them in 2024 because it probably just benefits you now more as a beatboxer to upload to your own platform so you directly benefit from the exposure that your videos might get. That, and we should probably leave them behind because as an artist, you kind of want to be in control of your music. And when you give it to somebody else or you have them record it and you put your trust in them, they're kind of going to be the final say on the audio quality, video quality, marketing, and the audience that it gets promoted to, which isn't always the best. So I think it's best for artists to take control of their own art, upload it to their own platform. So in 2025, no more shoutouts. Unless you want to. Moving on, in 2025, I would like to see the beatboxing community no longer gatekeep sounds. This is something I've always thought about since I started beatboxing, and I always thought it was weird that the beatboxing community would gatekeep individual sounds. Like, if somebody discovered a new sound and became popular for it, nobody else was allowed to use it without being yelled at in the comments, right? Even if they're using it in new and unique ways, people would be like, oh, you're copying blah, blah, blah. You're not allowed to do that. It's like, what? That's wild. I just don't get that. That stifles innovation. That's not going to help progress beatboxing, and that's just not helpful. Now, if they're using the same exact sounds and patterns, I get it. Like, you don't want people to copy exactly. That's just not good. But if they're pushing it and they're using it in their own music, in their own way, I don't see why people can't use sounds, right? We all use kick drums. We all use, K snares and spit snares and everything. An example of this would be when Shogo became popular for double voice, right? Anyone who tried to use double voice at that point would be called out in the comments, where they'd be like, oh, you're copying Shogo. You can't do that, even if it was different, And I think that's crazy. I mean, like, it might only happen with niche sounds. Like, if the sound's not used that much, people gatekeep more. Because, like, I guess when liberals became popular, people used to be like, oh, you're copying Napalm, you're copying Ball Z, Ibarra. But now it's like such a popular sound integral to every beatbox kit where no one says that. So I think the beatbox community just does it with like really new and unique sounds, but I still don't think that's helpful. I don't think it's good. People should be allowed to learn a sound, integrate it into their music, and push it to the next level. I can't believe I gotta say this, but in 2025, we need to stop sharing microphones at beatbox events. The fact that we are still sharing microphones at beatbox battles is disgusting, and I've always thought it was gross. Like, imagine you go to an event and you want to do an elimination. Let's say it's open elimination and there are over 100 people there. Let's say you're number 100 and you go to do, you just ingested 99 people's spit. It's feral and it's so easily preventable. And given the fact that it's dangerous because after every event, people get sick. It is so common that people get sick that the beatboxing community has a name for it. It's called the beatboxing flu. And that's not even like the worst case. Like, and I don't know if it has happened or how we've avoided it, but all it takes is somebody with like an active STI who either just doesn't know or is malicious, and they could just infect a whole bunch of people. And that is crazy dangerous to me. And I know that beatbox organizers take measures sometimes where they will wipe the outside of a microphone with an alcohol wipe, which is good, but there's still a foam insert under that collects the spit. And the fact that those foam inserts are like $1, you could protect the entire community from, at least in the elimination standpoint, for like $100. You could even pick a microphone and tell everyone, hey, if you have this microphone, you can use it. Because that's not going to change the EQing. I understand not using different microphones because that changes everything, but if it's the same mic, you should let people bring them. And when it comes to battles, like, use 2 separate microphones, change the foam caps, same thing. There are just so many ways to prevent it that it's wild that sometimes those measures aren't taken. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But sharing a microphone with that many people, it's disgusting. What else are we gonna leave in 2024? Judging. I wasn't going to talk about this one, so I'll keep it short, but when I asked on Reddit what we should leave behind in 2024, almost everybody had something to say about judging. It wasn't clear or concise about what we should leave behind about judging. Some people offered solutions to problems they thought existed, others disagreed with those solutions. So what I will say is, in 2025, we should leave behind unnecessarily complaining about judging. What I mean by that is, if you disagree with a judge's decision, or your favorite beatboxer just lost and you're really upset, maybe we don't put a comment on the video and shit on the judge. Not really constructive, it's not gonna help anything, and it's been done 1,000 times before. Sure, have I disagreed with judging before in the past? Yes, but at the end of the day, we need to understand that judges are human. Humans have opinions, biases, musical opinions, they're fallible, they make mistakes, therefore judging will never be perfect. I saw solutions like, let the audience be a judge, right? One of the judges. Somebody hated that idea. Someone said, make sure every judge is from a different country to remove the country bias because people talk about the French bias a lot. Shocker, French beatboxers are insanely talented. That's why they win. Hot take. You can improve things, sure. Like, I've seen improvements, like we've improved transparency, where I'm starting to see wildcard scores, like in the judges, it's like judge 1 that puts the top 30 in all their scores for every category. That's good. That's improvement. So we should just stop complaining about small things, and because, nothing's perfect. Number 10, and the final thing we should leave behind in 2024, is the misunderstanding of the term musicality. Musicality, if you don't know, is one of the 5 judging criteria when it comes to beatboxing. You have musicality, technicality, originality, performance, and structure. The problem here is that people, a majority of the beatboxing community, and I've seen it throughout the years, associate musicality with only singing. They have this notion that if you sing, you are immediately an insanely musical beatboxer, or you can immediately boost all your musicality points if you sing or put a melody in your thing. And that's just not true. There are so many things that go into musicality. It's not just singing a melody. Musicality overall isn't like my favorite term when it comes to judging because it just is like, what is music? And I think that's just too over-encompassing, right? And it includes so much like tempo, flow, rhythm, structure, dynamics, yes, melody, but also pitch and so much more, where a lot of beatboxers just purely associate it with melody and singing. And I don't get that. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. Because yes, is Gene Shinizaki a musical beatboxer? Yes. Is it because he sings? No, it's because of the overall musical piece. The singing and melody help, of course, that plays into it. But the dynamics, the structure, everything is so good that comes together to make musicality high. It's not just the melody and singing. Because the same people will then, that associate this, will say, Footbox G is not a musical beatboxer, or OM is not a musical beatboxer, and that is wild behavior. They may not sing as much, if at all, and they may not use melody as much, but that doesn't mean they're not a musical beatboxer, because they hit every other category of music, because it's music. So I want to leave behind in 2024 the misunderstanding of this term, and I want people to understand that singing does not mean musicality directly. Yeah, so those were 10 things about beatboxing I think we should leave behind in 2024 as we move into 2025. Let me know what you guys think about those. If you have any that I didn't say, put them down in the comments below. If you guys would like to have discussions like this in the future, let me know if you enjoyed this one. And I have a Reddit community where we can talk about these things. So check that out again, link in the description below. With that said, I hope you guys have a fantastic day and stay hydrated. What do you think about judging? Speak. Ooh, hot take from Gizmo. Judging? Do you like judging? Do you not like judging? You can't eat my microphone.
What do you think about sharing the mic?
Yeah, Gizmo wants to share the mic. This is fucked up. We're not sharing mics. That's disgusting.